In 2022, Husqvarna launched their flagship adventure bike by the name of Norden 901. I reviewed that bike and it was a stunning machine, and as competent as its sister company KTM, just very individual in its lines, very smooth, refined. Now here for 2023, they've taken the pioneering Norden 901 from 2022 and for 23 put it on steroids, and this is the Norden 901 Expedition. And why I say it's on steroids is because this is more hardcore, more focused adventure bike, and it's differentiated from the original 22 Norden 901 by its componentry. So let's have a look at this Norden 901 Expedition by Husqvarna 2023 model in more detail and what makes this bike so different. In 2022, Husqvarna launched their flagship adventure bike called Norden 901. And I did a review on that. If you remember, it's that black, yellow and white one, and really stunning bike. I really enjoyed that bike. And it is actually a stablemate and shares the bones of its sister company and the model KTM 890 Adventure. When I say shares the same bones, I'm talking about same frame, same chassis, same motor. Other than that, when it comes to design, the Husqvarna has smoother, rounder shapes, not the hardcore, aggressive lines of the KTM. And if you look at this individual style of the Husqvarna Norden, it actually evokes memories of the Paris-Dakar bikes from the 80s and 90s. Very individual looking, stunning headlight, integrated spotlights, stunning bike. Now, you still have the Norden 901 model, and this is now the next level, the top of the range Norden 901 Expedition. And the Expedition is just the more user-friendly off-road bike, and it's the Norden 901 on steroids. And I'll go through the different changes. There's about 7 or 8 of them as standard, and what makes this bike so different. I think what we're going to start off with is, when it comes to colors, the original Norden 901 is still the same colors, the black, yellow and white, and the Expedition, this is the only color scheme, and the graphics, this is the option as it is for 2023. Starting off with the motor, as mentioned, it shares this power plant from the KTM stablemate, the KTM 890 Adventure R. You're talking about a Euro 5 4-stroke parallel twin double overhead cam, 4 valves per cylinder, 889cc liquid cooled unit, stainless steel exhaust, primary and secondary silencer by Husqvarna. Now, power output is 105 horsepower at 8,000 RPM and a really nice 100 Newton meter at 6,500 RPM. So when you look at that, low RPMs, really high 100 Newton meter torque. Cable operated slipper clutch, 6-speed gearbox, final drive chain. Now subframe is chrome molybdenum steel powder coated, and again, nice lightweight strong steel used, weight saving, the motor being a stressed member in that. Now when we get to the suspension, that is the first real hardcore upgrade. Both front and back is WP again. WP is an in-house brand for KTM and Husqvarna, and The Norden 901 has the WP Apex front and rear with a travel of 220 and 215. Now this Expedition has the WP Explore suspension. So in front you have a 48mm upside down WP Explore, and travel is up from 220 to 240. You have adjustable compression rebound and preload. Now at the rear you have the monoshock WP Explore, also adjustable compression rebound preload. Travel up from 215 to 240 as well. When you're talking about brakes, dual disc up front, 2 times 320mm with 4-piston radial mounted calipers, and at the rear a single disc 260mm 2-piston floating calipers at the rear. Wheels, you're talking about tubeless aluminium spoked wheels, 21-inch up front and 18-inch at the back, shod with a 90 and a 150. Now when you're talking this increased travel in suspension front and rear, that comes with increased ground clearance, and this bike has a proper 270mm ground clearance. On that point, have a look at this monstrous bash plate, really heavy duty bash plate, and that's the next upgrade from the normal standard Norden 901 to this Expedition. Again, next step, the seat height with the increased travel, that goes up, and here you have a 2-stage seating, 875 or 895, and if you look over here you can see it's on the lower setting and really comfortable at my 6-foot frame, both feet flat, knees bent, so it's not too bad, it's not intimidating. Wet weight is 214.5 kilos, which is a little bit up, and that's including fuel, 214, a little bit up on the standard Norden 901, and the fuel capacity 19 liters. Now before we go into the electronics on this bike, just the upgrades. We spoke about the suspension, we spoke about the heavy duty bash plate, but you also get the center stand as standard on this bike. You get the soft luggage, which has been removed on this bike for my play date today. You get the connectivity to your smartphone, so you can do the navigation and music there, and you get the taller windscreen up here. If you have a look at this clear one, is much taller than on the standard Norden 901, which is the shorter tinted one, and you have the heated grips and heated rider seat. Unfortunately no heated pillion seat, but for rider seat and grips heated. So all round you can see and appreciate this is the more off-road friendly hardened Norden 901, and has really usable, useful upgrades, and the componentry is what makes this different to the standard Norden 901. But now let's have a look at the electronics on this particular bike. Starting off, really cool 5-inch full color TFT display. Yes, a little bit of reflection coming through, but bright colors, so still easy to read and all round fun and easy to use. Up here, cruise control. Yes, cruise control is standard, easy to use. You hop in here and on the screen you see you go in. On the motorcycle you can go rider modes. Over here you have your street, your rain, your off-road, your explore, and really easy to use. Here you have your traction control, really nice. The animations going down, your quick shift. Yes, you have quick shift on this bike. You have your heating over here, you have your grips and your rider seat. You can set that to hot, medium and not so hot, whatever, light heating. The bike info, trip info, all round really cool display, lots of animation. Yes, the bike has traction control. Yes, it has ABS with the IMU, determines lean angle of the bike. Your rider modes, street, rain, off-road, explore. You ride by wire with cruise control over here. Full LED lighting and a pair of fog lights integrated. LED with these slim indicators. Absolutely stunning. And have a look at this headlight. Proper daytime running light, everything is in on the bike. This particular demo bike that I'm taking for a ride, stock standard as we see it in front of us here. The soft shell bags have been removed. It's just to make it slimmer and more user-friendly around the traffic for me. And one of the mirrors was broken by somebody, so it's just been removed to keep it neat and tidy. But other than that, as mentioned earlier, the color and graphics, the only option on the Expedition for 2023. I think really cool, suits this bike and suits an adventure bike. When it comes to opposition, I would talk about the Yamaha Tenere 700. I would look at obviously the KTM 890 Adventure, the BMW F850 GS Adventure, and the Triumph Tiger 900. However, when it comes to individuality, being different, and just something unique, you don't find anything more different to that. And as I mentioned at the beginning, this really reminds me of the Paris-Dakar bikes from the 80s and 90s. But I think the main fun starts when we start this motor up and go for a ride. Let's do that now. Okay, before we get going, this is how simple this bike works. As you can see, neutral, the gear, and street mode in the middle. We just push the set button, motorcycle, set again, rain mode, set. We go down to off-road, push set, and we're in. There you go. Off-road setting, we're ready to go. Over here you can see grips are on medium heating, seat is on medium heating. It is a cool day, and so let's go have some fun. So as we pop out here on the dirt road, first thing I'm going to show you, this bike is really comfortable. I'm sitting upright. There is no weight on my lower back or my arms. Handlebars come back, my arms are bent. In this position, if I stand up, I am perfectly upright. I'm not hunched forward, leaning forward. The handlebars come high enough that I can stand without leaning forward and hands on the handlebars. So should I be riding for longer hours, I am not fatigued. I can stand up, remove the pressure off my bum, and proper, really comfortable. It tracks nicely on dirt with this big 21-inch wheel, and you can really let rip. If you look, it's stable, it's not washing out in front, the front wheel. The taller screen is really nice. If I straighten my back, I can still look over the screen should it get dirty from off-road and mud and that. But I do think we're going to go on the highway a little bit now, but I do think it gives you better protection than the standard Norden 901. So all round, I think well finished, well purposed motorcycle, and what a fun little motorcycle to ride. Not so little actually. Really soaking the bumps up nicely. I have it in off-road, so yes, the back does spin up a little bit. Really a lot of fun to ride it like that. And confidence inspiring motorcycle, very competent. The general ergonomics, super comfortable. Handlebars wide but not too wide. Those tiny little slim indicators, everything looks proper and cool. The bright colors of the dash are really refreshing and comfortable, all round comfortable. It looks really wide from this position as a rider, but as you walk around, it's actually not that wide a bike, but beefy, comfortable, stunning. So I think what we're going to do is get out of the off-road mode once we join the traffic. Here we go. Quick shifter, really quick and smooth, and here on the fly, quickly go in and go to road mode, street mode, set, and close throttle, off we go. It tells you exactly what to do. The animation is really awesome. You don't have to read anything. The animation tells you what you do, and then it even tells you close the throttle and it's selected. So all round brilliant, great feel, great ride on the dirt. It soaks up the bumps, and you do feel it's a little bit taller than the standard Norden 901, but not over the top. You're talking 2 centimeters is really, but it gives you that extra travel. The suspension, really hardcore, proper fun bike. The motor, I've always enjoyed this motor. It's a peach. I enjoy riding motors on their torque curve, not their power, and very responsive in street mode as it is here. The quick shifter, absolutely sweet. And as you can see, in traffic, should I want to commute with this bike, not a problem. Not a problem. Controls are quite firm. There's a lot of resistance pulling the clutch if you do slow riding, but you don't need to. If you have a look here, you don't even feel any rocking. At low RPMs, high RPMs, it really works well. And motor has plenty stonk. Down the road here. The handling of the bike is really good as well. Whoa! A lot of power. And you can short shift through this box. It's a lot of fun. You're constantly in the power curve. It doesn't run out or flatten out. Whole lot of fun. Confidence inspiring. Have a look at this. Whether it's bumpy or not. Runs well. On the gravel, the front didn't wash out to the left or right, tracked nicely, and here on the roads, it is really a perky little motor. You just roll on and off you go. Everyday use, it'll definitely, if you're not controlled, get you into trouble. It has enough power to get you in. I mean, we all nowadays enter the horsepower race and you want the 1290s and 1250s and all these big adventure bikes, of which I also have one, but sometimes they are quite impractical. If you want to just whip it out the garage to commute, go to work on a Friday or something like that, they are quite big and cumbersome. So really large, tall, wide bikes. If you do lane splitting in a country, you're allowed to. In South Africa we're allowed to. It really gets difficult because they are too wide, they are too heavy, they are too bulky, and yes, sometimes too much power for commuting in traffic. So this is like a sweet spot. It's not over the top, but it's one plenty to get you into trouble, and just all around plenty to have fun on, plenty to stay with the big boys. Have a look at this. It's just, ooh, when you roll on, with this quick shifter and the sound, really gets you to speeds that get you some tickets or free accommodation in jail. But nevertheless fun. As you can see, plenty stonk in this motor to have a lot of fun, get a little bit of hooligan factor going there. But also, it is quite a chilly day outside. It says 23 degrees over here, but the wind chill factor, it's quite cold. I have my inners on, my touring jacket on, but it's so nice to have the heated grips, and yes, I can feel the seat. These are the creature comforts, and they are standard on this expedition. So why not? Why not? It just looks good, feels good, and the build quality, it's solid machine. As you can see, very controllable bike in low RPMs. I'm at 3,500 RPMs, very controllable. At 3,500 RPMs from 4th gear, I can pull it up to 5th. There's hardly any rock, it's just smooth. At 5th, Have a look at that power. You roll on. It's not snatchy, but definitely there's kick, there's bite. It wants to go. So proper motor. I enjoy riding these things on the torque curve. I don't like riding them top end horsepower like we used to do in younger years with these super bikes, really revving it past 10,000 RPMs. Those days are gone for me. My personal preference would be riding in lower RPMs in the torque curve, quick shifting through the box, and that's also more fun when it comes to adventure riding, when it comes to dirt riding. And just what a pleasure to ride this bike. You can live with it. Here you go. I didn't change down, 5th gear, and it just jumps up. So just speaking about the controls again, quick shifter, smooth, works really well, low revs, high RPMs. The resistance is enough to feel very positive when you're selecting the next gear. It's not sloppy, or it's not too much resistance that you feel like you're crashing it. The clutch lever has quite a bit of resistance in it, so at slower speeds it's nice to use. It's got a firm feel to it. And when it comes to the brake lever, also it is a firm feel to it. I don't think it's 2-finger braking. I would say it's 4 fingers, and nice and progressive. It's not snatchy at first bite, so when you pull, retardation smooth as well. Nothing that catches you out or gives you a fright, and that's obviously important when you're on dirt roads. You want to have that slow bite, that you have a good feel, and on top of that you have ABS as well. And guys, always remember, I'm reviewing these bikes from an enthusiast point of view. I'm not a journalist, so I'm not one of these ex-champions, superbike riders or motocross champion. No, I'm like most of us out there, mere mortals, having fun on bikes, enjoying bikes. So yes, if you want to nitpick and be overcritical and compare this bike to that bike, A bike, B bike, C bike, and that's not what it's about. What it's about is getting on a bike. Does this bike give you smiles? Does it excite you? Does it bring out the boy in you, that boyish smile, that love for motorcycling, whether naked or super bike? Does that bike evoke those emotions? And that's how I look and ride at bikes. And this bike is definitely, it's like a little pocket rocket on the motor side of things, and quick shifter. So for me as a hooligan, yes, just punching through traffic, opening up, squirting here, going, fantastic little motorcycle. And if you want to go with your mates on a bit of a bundu bash and hardcore off-road, you know you've got top equipment, you can play with the big guns. And I don't think with this motor you're going to be left behind. You can pedal with them, and the bigger screen is sort of a fantastic combination. If I just arch my back a bit, I'm really out of the wind. But should I be on off-road and get the screen full of mud, I can straighten my back and I can see over it. So I would say best of both worlds. And the levers, nothing sloppy. This whole bike feels really, really solid. And it's one of those bikes you feel like you're sitting on top of it. You're really in control of it. The reflections while riding on the TFT, you can really see they're not as bad as when you're just standing and having a looking at. So I have no complaints. Love the bright colors on the TFT. You have to get used to this font over here, a little bit on the small side, but you get to know what you're looking at. You see your grips, your heating, your rider mode in the middle, your speed, your RPMs, your time, your outside temperature, your fuel range, everything at one glance. You can see cruise control, so tour forever. The seat, I would say, is quite firm, a little bit better than MX style, but I would say MX style firm, just thicker padding, so nothing plush soft like a tourer. Have a look at this, unbelievable. Oh. Heaps of fun. This is a very purposeful, dedicated machine. It's, you know why you're buying it. You're buying it to play hard. Yes, you can commute, but I think the standard Norden 901 for most of us is plenty. This just gives us more traction, definitely saving us there a little bit. I think the motor on this bike is really what I'm enjoying at the moment. The suspension also, it's not sloppy or wallowy, bouncing around. You can see it's fairly firm on the road, so practical. What really impressed me is the stability of the front wheel. It didn't wash out left and right, it ran nicely. Switching off the traction control worked. You could play at the back a little bit. It is a demo bike. I have only got it for today for a couple of hours, so I'm not that familiar with it, so I was still quite cautious with it. Don't want to bin somebody else's bike. But thank you to Biker Warehouse for giving me the opportunity to play with their Norden 901 Expedition for today. If you have a look at this, you don't have to struggle getting past anybody. It's just so easy. Fantastic all-round bike. We've had it on the dirt, we've been on the highway, we've been in quite severe traffic, we've been in some nice curves, twisties, sure-footed. I can run this all one-handed. The brakes are really good. All the controls, all round, I'm super comfortable. Ergonomics, fantastic. Mechanically, as you would know, KTM mechanicals, brilliant. Creature comforts, my bum is nice and warm, my hands are happy. What more do you want from life? Beautiful weather, sun is out, crispy cold, but I'm nice and toasty here. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this ride and review of the Husqvarna Norden 901 Expedition with me. Really fantastic motorcycle, the Norden 901 on steroids. Super Norden 901 if you want to call it at that. If you enjoyed the episode with me, please guys, hit that like button, give me a thumbs up, and most important of all guys, please hit that subscribe button to help me build a channel, and the reminder bell if you like, so you always know when I'm uploading new content.